Hi everyone, I'm Kim.
And I'm Lars.
And today we're going to be making a Danish Christmas star. I'll come and show you. This is, Lars was born in Denmark, and he used to make these. I'm going to let him tell you about them. And we're going to do a little tutorial on how to make these. But do you want to tell them about them, Lars?
Sure. Well, this star is made out of modern, what do we call this?
Ribbon.
Ribbon. You know, it's shiny and it's very flexible, very bendable, and it's either, you know, you can either get it made out of like woven nylon or.
We used to make them out of just paper. This is just a paper piece.
Yeah. So basically, you can make them out of paper. You can cut your own paper ribbon, but I found it much easier to deal with this modern synthetic, shiny and very slick ribbon. The slicker, the easier. Okay, so basically, I've got I've cut ribbon. I have here 3/4 inch, which is a common thickness, and I've cut it 24 inches long. So you can make this ribbon out of thinner ribbon. You can make it out of fatter if you want.
You mean you can make the stars?
The star, yeah. So this is like a 1/2 inch, whatever, and this is 3/4. So there's a ratio to make sure you have enough length to the, you know, depending on what the thickness is. So basically, whatever the thickness is, multiply it by 32, and that's how many inches each of these pieces should be. In this case, it's 3/4 of an inch. If you multiply it by 32, you end up getting 24 inches. Okay, so you take your 24-inch ribbon and you fold it in half, and then you make a crease on one end. And you want to, instead of just having a flat end here, you cut a little corner off, and now it's going to be easier to do the folding.
Show it up close here.
See here, I've cut, so at the end, instead of just being a flat, I've cut a little corner off so you have a little bit.
So you've angled the end.
I've angled the end, yeah. You can make it a tip if you want, but it doesn't need to be that sharp. Okay, so you start out, and I am right-handed, so I prefer kind of to have, when I'm doing most of my folding and everything with right hand. And to do that, let me lay this down here. Let me explain that basically, pretend this is up, this is to the right, this is left, and this is down. So if you are right-handed, to start out, because I'm right-handed, you start out with a piece going to the right, and then the piece that I will say this is the top, going to the top. That goes into that one, okay? And then I take the other, in case I want to alternate colors, so then I stick the folded end of the other red one into this one here. Now the last one, to lock this, make this little box, this one here, you take the tips around this one here to the right and around, under and over, so that it will lock kind of like that. Okay, so now here it's kind of like a loose, it's not really held tight together, so we have to lock it. Okay, so the way that we do that, we're going to put the camera like this so you can kind of see better, is to take these strips, make them kind of so they're kind of a little bit tight, then fold each one back where it came from. So I'm just going this one, then the next one goes over. So I'm basically locking them into position. And then this one here goes over the last one I just did. And then the last one will go over and into the next one. So now I kind of push down on all the creases. Now this is not going to get unlocked. It's secure. Okay, so now I'm going, and it doesn't matter which way we start here. So basically, if I'm on, like I said, if I'm right-handed, I'm set up now so that I'm going to be doing the same thing 8 times. So this one step here, if you do once and then you do it 7 more times. So you take the top one and you bring it over to the right, in other words at a 90-degree angle, and then you fold this one 90-degree angle and you make this little point right here. Okay, and I'm leaving a little teeny gap right here. There's a little gap about the thickness of a fingernail. Then I swing it over, push them together. That's the point of the star. Now I do one more thing. I flip it back and I tuck in this piece here into the little gap that's right here. I pull it back. Okay, that's the first step. If you're left-handed and you prefer to do all your stuff with left hand, then you do opposite of what I started with, and then you would be basically this kind of a gap would be over here. But this is the way I designed the start of this. I'm going to be using my right hand to make these points here. So again, this is top. I call this top. Swing it around, and then create a little crease by squeezing the paper or the ribbon, and then again come down here. So what it looks like is this, like this. See 2 right angle creases here and here, and to make the point I just fold it over and I squish it together with my finger, and I use one finger to kind of flip the tip back so I can tuck this into that little spot, and I pull back. Then I just turn, and I'm just doing the same step over and over. Go to the right, come back down. I leave a little gap so that when I flip it over, you get a nice clean little point. And I tuck it into, pull down. See, I'm holding this here. And then when I start to get close, I just relax, release that finger. Now I do the 4th one. And right now I'm going to move this thing out of the way so you can see. Again, take this one here, fold it over here. I'm not twisting it like this way. I'm not twisting it that way. I'm holding it and I'm just turning it so the back ends up being facing you, and then we do it one more time, and now we're back to the shiny silver side being right towards you. I fold it over. Again, one finger, I just grab this point and I tip it back, and I tuck the end. See, the reason that I've done the little chisel, it's easier to tuck that in than if it wasn't. Sometimes it's harder just to do a flat thing rather than having like a little chiseled end. So now I've done the right side of that. Now I just simply flip the whole thing over and I do the same thing. And this time I just use this one here is on the other side, that's done. I take this, flip it over to 90 degrees so it just goes like this. And then I'm going to fold it this way, come back down, leave a little bit of a gap so it has room to come together and have a nice clean little point. Flip it back with my left index finger, tuck it in there, and here just you don't have to pull very much, it will just slide right out like that. And you can rotate this any way you want. I'm just rotating to the right. If you're left-handed, you know the side, then you can rotate to the left. It doesn't matter. You can do these in any order you want. This is just, I think it's kind of cleaner looking, and then just you have a little more. You have some more working room for your hand. Flip it back, tuck it in, release the tip, and then it pops up just like that. Again, here, go out to the right, and with the other finger just sort of squish down and crease it. The nice thing about this ribbon is sort of metallic, so it has kind of a aluminum foil property in that it once you crease it, it pretty much stays creased. If you were doing this with just straight paper doesn't it doesn't have the same properties, so it's a little, if you start folding it the wrong way, it doesn't hold, and paper won't hold as well as this ribbon here. Now, if you're using ribbon that's sort of doesn't really have any metal part to it, it's not going to hold its shape quite as well as this. So the foil kind of halfway foil stuff I think is easiest. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have all those done. So now it's just basically a two-dimensional star. Well, we want to make this 3D, so we want to now create the points that go up. See, that's 3D, this is 2D. So now at this point, we want to go, see how all these are going out in one direction, right? We want to fold them back, make a little crease here on all of them. And I'll show you why later. That makes it easier to make the next step. Again, pull it back, nice little fold, pull this back, put a little pressure on there. Okay, now flip it over and I do the same thing to this side. Again, see how this is sticking out to the right, so I flip it all the way half over here and I make a crease right down there. This is going to the right, so we flip it over to the left, make a little crease. And I'm just rotating, I'm just doing the same thing 8 times. The thing about knitting stars, basically you're doing like 6 steps, 8 times, and that's it. Once you figure out how to do it once, each step, it's easy. Okay, so now I have made creases on both sides. So now it doesn't matter where, if I go start on this side or that side, but now what I'm going to do, I take I'll make a point out of this one here. So it's going down, you take it, let me get this out of the way here. You take it and without bending or twisting it, you see this shiny side, I want the shiny side to be looking at me the whole time. It's still facing me and it tucks into right here. There's a spot right here. I just feed it in there and it comes out, should come out this end. If it doesn't come out this end, then you know something's wrong. But if you follow my steps, you're doing it the right way. So now, make sure not to pull it too tight. Just pull it to where you get a little point on there. And it's going to be round and curved, and then it's going to have a nice point. So now I've done that one, and I rotate to the right, get these things out of the way. Do the same thing. This one here is hanging down. Turn over. See, I'm still looking at the shiny side. So now I'm just kind of making a loop, and I feed it through, hold the star with my right hand, and slowly pull this thing out. Again, not too far. That's as far as I want to go to get to the point. I rotate to the right again. This one's hanging down. Swirl it around. Still, the shiny side is facing me, so I haven't flipped it or anything. Pull it like that to a point. And then I do the last one on this side. This one's hanging down. Swirl it around, go underneath here, and it comes out right here. Slowly pull on it, get to a nice point. There. So now we have a three-dimensional star in one sense. It's kind of flat on the bottom, but it's, it's half a star. We're just got 4 more steps and then we're done. Now at this point, a person could, if at this point you can also make a Christmas present bow out of this just by trimming the stuff on the back and trimming these off here with a scissor, and then you'll basically have a little handmade bow for a present. by putting a double-sided tape on the bottom and putting on there, and you have a star. But we're gonna flip this around because we want this to be like a star you can hang on a branch. So now we do the same thing we did before. This is hanging down. We bring it around like this. We tuck it right in that little spot there, and we feed it through, and it comes out this end here. Again, we just pull on it, and see, it kind of wants to catch that little corner, that tip, so we kind of make sure that it doesn't. And then get to the point where we have a nice little point. Rotate it to the right. And you can rotate left or right, doesn't matter what you want. This is just, I just get used to rotating to the right, you know, clockwise. Again, here, this one's down. Swirl it around. Tuck it into that spot there. Feed it through. Pull it out with this finger. Get to that point. Rotate to the right. We have 2 more to do, then we're done. This one's hanging down, so we just take it by that sort of the dull side, not the shiny side, and rotate it. Feed it in here. And here's the end, and I pull it out like this. Tighten. You don't want to tighten too much because then you ruin you don't have a nice point. The only one left is this one here. Take it down, keeping it the same side facing to you. Tuck it into the little spot here, and this sort of feed it there. Pull out with left finger or left hand. Get a nice little point. Okay, so now we have created 8 points around here and 4 points on each end. Now we just want to trim this here. Now, when you trim this, you got to be careful. If I were to trim this and accidentally come over here and cut that off, it would open up and it would ruin everything. You destroy the star. So you got to be mindful of, you don't want to cut into that and you don't want to cut into that. So trim it off like that. And see, sometimes this, because this stuff is a little fibrous, it has a little, cut that off. Trim that off. Now, if you want to, you don't have to, you know, I can go a little, probably a little closer, but it's okay. I think it looks really cool to have those 2 colors. If a person wanted to do more, or you could even do this. Sometimes people do this. And it's even more dimension to it. But in this case, I just kind of do the standard cut. Again, I'm just doing the same step over and over. Okay, you do the same thing 8 times. Uh-oh, what am I doing here? The scissor not cooperating. There. It doesn't matter what side you cut on. Maybe this is a better side to cut. And then the last one here. And this one here didn't quite, a little fiber there. And this one here, oh. This one here is hanging, so I gotta, okay, so there, now that we have the star, and then you just get a sharp needle and poke a hole in one of these little points here. Put a thread in there, or put one of these little things that you can hang stuff on a tree with. Sometimes I do that. Put that in there. Hang that on a limb. There you go.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this Danish Christmas star tutorial. And thanks to Lars for showing us how to do it, because he's very good at making these stars. He's been making them since he was a little kid. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And you could subscribe to my channel, and if you want to see other crafts, then just tune in every day to the 24 days of Christmas. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for spending time with us, and I hope you enjoyed this. So happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Bye.